Hey guys, it's Lindsay and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about some of my favorite fantasy romance or romantasy books. I have 8 things on this list for you guys today. If you guys don't know, I mean it is in the description. Is fantasy romance is basically a fantasy novel that has an element of romance that is either the main plot point or one of the main plot points, not necessarily like the top one, but like a main subplot. So for me, that includes a lot of these books on this list. I'm very picky when it comes to my fantasy reads. I'm not a big fantasy reader. I read mostly contemporary romance and adult romance, and that's it. Like, I seldomly read romance, like fantasy at all. But lately, there's been one series that I've been super freaking obsessed with. And I don't know if you want to label this as fantasy or like paranormal romance, but this will be like a little like extra fantasy romance, and that's going to be the Zodiac Academy by Carolyn Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. I am currently obsessed with this series. I have read the first 5 books. I am currently on book 6. I have not read it yet because I am awaiting. Book 8 doesn't come out until December, and it is August, okay? So it's like I still have a few more months to catch up on the series before the next book comes out. So I am hopefully going to be reading it maybe at the end of August, but we'll see. But that is a little bonus book for you, if you will. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this list. And coming in at number 8 is going to be the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, or Maas. I really do love this series. It's one of my absolute favorite romance series. The first couple of books are considered YA because they do not have that romance element into it. It does, but it's not that like main plot point. That doesn't really come in until later on in the series when we meet a certain someone in book 3, and then that's where it takes a little bit of a turn towards being a romance fantasy novel or series. And I actually really enjoyed this series. It is a long haul. I have read all of the books the day or the year that they came out. So I think I finished this series back in 2019, I want to say. It was before Silver Flames came out. So I want to say it was either 2020 or 2019 is when I finished this series. So overall, I really enjoyed the series, and if you guys have not read Throne of Glass, I highly suggest it. A lot of people say that Sarah J. Maas is very overhyped, but for a good reason. She writes some amazing stuff, and I think it's very good. So that's number 8. Number 7 on my list is going to be Kingdom of the Curse by Carrie Maniscalco. This is, I believe, book 1 in the, I don't know if she has a name for this series, but it's like the Kingdom of the Wicked, Kingdom of the Curse type series. I love this series. Like, book 1 is definitely YA, and then book 2 definitely goes into like adult themes and adult explicit scenes, and then I believe Kingdom of the Feared, which is book 3, is going to be adult, and I cannot wait. September cannot get here fast enough. I believe it comes out on September 26th, and I'm counting down the days until I can actually get my hands on this book because it is going to be amazing, and I cannot wait. So I highly recommend this. This is like the 7 deadly sins, but they are portrayed as the 7 princes of hell, which is, I think, is like really cool aspect to it. And then we have our main female character who is trying to avenge her twin sister. And it's just a very good story, and I actually really enjoyed it. Obviously, otherwise it wouldn't be on this list. So there is not a big like romance plot in it until like book 2. That's where the like romance really does start to take off, and you can kind of see that they are very much into each other. So I definitely recommend that you wait until the second book to get that romance aspect, but I can't wait till the 3rd book comes out. Like I've said, I'm so excited. Number 6 on my list is a recent read. I just read this at the beginning of the month, and that is King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. This is the first book in the Isolde and Adrian series. This is a vampire romance book. And it is so good. It's like a vampire and a witch fall in love, and it's so good. I highly recommend this. It is spicy, and it gets spicy quick. They do not hold back. Like, it is like boom right there. As soon as like the main event happens in the book, it is like the next scene they are just, you know, doing it. But overall, I really enjoyed this book. I can't wait until the second book comes out. I do believe that one also comes out in December. So I have a lot of new releases coming out in December, and I can't wait for them because they're going to be so much fun. All right, number 5 on my list is going to be another series, and that is the Shadow Beast Shifters series. This is more paranormal romance than it is fantasy romance, but I figured there is some fantasy elements, as they are like werewolves, vampires, magic is involved. So I feel like it is partly fantasy and partly paranormal romance, but it's so good. And it does have fae involved. So we're like, you know, it's a fantasy series. This is about a girl who is rejected by her fated mate, and when she's being rejected by her fated mate, she is calling out to the god of the werewolves, and he comes and actually saves her from the wrath of the Alpha. So overall, this series is so good. The main character, there is 3 books that have one couple in it, which is Mira and Shadow, and then book 4 has another couple, and book 5 has another couple. There's currently 5 books out in the series. Book 6 comes out, I believe, later on this year. If not later on this year, definitely at the beginning of next year. I think it's called Glamour. That's book 6. I don't know when it comes out. I'm just waiting for it. It's gonna be good, and I can't wait for it. I'm so ready. Number 4 on my list is going to be 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and literally just the first book. I liked the second book, but the first book is like chef's kiss. I loved this book. It is one of those fantasy novels that just leaves a mark on you, and the show is doing a very good job with it. I think that the Grishaverse is definitely very convoluted and very hard to figure out sometimes, but like, I don't know, it's kind of cool. I think that them having both of the books in the TV show is actually really cool, or both of the book series. Shadow and Bone, not my favorite series. I hated how the 3rd book ended, so I am hoping that the show does better justice than the books did, because I know a lot of people did not like how the books ended and wished for us another ending. So maybe the show will do it and give it justice, but we'll definitely see on that. Number 3 on my list is going to be From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is book 1 in the From Blood and Ash series. This is about a girl who is a maiden, and she is tasked with being like the chosen one for the like ascended that she's surrounded by, and so later on she finds out who she really is and what powers she really holds on to, and then we meet my favorite character, like my favorite male fantasy character, over some of the very popular ones. He is definitely my favorite, yeah, but Poppy and Hawk are definitely 2 of my favorite people. They're one of my favorite couples, which I think I'm going to be doing another fantasy related video, which is going to be like my favorite fantasy couples, because there's a lot. There is a lot of fantasy couples that I just absolutely love. But overall, I loved this series. I am not all the way caught up. I still need to read A War of Two Queens, but I'm waiting a little bit until the second book of Flesh and Fire series comes out, because I know that like you have to read them in a specific order. So anyway, really love this series and highly recommend it. And then number 2 and number 1 are kind of like, they're from the same series, but they're different couples. So number 2 on my list is going to be A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. A lot of masses on this list, and we know this. I mean, it is what it is. I absolutely love A Court of Thorns and Roses, specifically A Court of Mist and Fury. I know a lot of people love the second book over the first because, like, of the events that happen in the first book, it's kind of garbage. And then you read the second book and it is like the holy grail of fantasy novels. And everyone loves the second book, and then they hate on the third book. And I actually really enjoyed the third book. I thought it was very relevant to the story and where we were going to see some of these really crazy characters end up. And I actually really enjoyed the series. So I find that A Court of Mist and Fury is a little bit less than the number one book on this list, but overall, I absolutely loved this series, and it is one of my favorite fantasy series. And I do tend to reread some of my favorite scenes when I am having a bad mental health day, just to make myself feel better. So overall, number 2, A Court of Mist and Fury, or A Court of Thorns and Roses, however you want to say it. And then number 1 on my list, which should be no surprise to anybody, and that is A Court of Silver Flames. I am a Nessian fan. Like, Nessian is just like my chef's kiss. They are beautiful. I love Nesta and Cassian. They're 2 of my favorite people on this planet, and I just find that their relationship took a huge, like I don't know how you want to describe it, like mountain climb pretty much, because like Cassian had to work. Like, he really had to work to get Nesta to trust him and to open up to him and do all of this stuff. And I loved that Nesta had a great character redemption arc, like from her being a complete dick and asshole for the first 3 books and then make her this beautiful badass character in her own story. It was amazing. I loved it so much, and I really hope that Sarah does not do us dirty with Asriel's book, because we're all waiting for it, and we all have our own opinions on who Asriel is gonna be like with. I have my opinion. I'm just so excited, and I really, really loved this book. It is my favorite fantasy romance of all time, until we probably get Azrael's book, and then that'll be my number 1, but we'll see, because like I said, I love Nesta and Cassian. They are my 2 favorite people, at least in the series. I know a lot of people love Feyre and Rhysand, and if fair, they are very cute, and I really did love their story, but my holy grail has got to be Nesta and Cassian. So that is my list of my favorite fantasy romance books of all time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I do have some social media links in the description box below. There is going to be my Instagram link as well as my Goodreads link. I am very active on both of those, and I update them pretty much every day. So if you want to go check those out, you are more than welcome to. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give me a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.